I love skill grinding in Hypixel Skyblock. It's what really adds to the progression of the game and what makes it actually like way better than normal Minecraft to me. But there are three skills. Three skills that just they just make me want to hurt someone. There are three skills that are the worst things about Hypixel Skyblock. Hello random people on the internet, my name is Banana, and today we are talking about the Unholy Trinity in Hypixel Skyblock. And if you don't know what the Unholy Trinity of skills is, it basically comes down to three skills: Enchanting, Fishing, and Mining. These three skills are what pain the majority of Skyblock players when it comes to their skill grinding, what pain the majority of everyone. Even if you don't play Skyblock, I'll bet you hate Fishing, Mining, and Enchanting. And in this video, we are just going to go over what other skills do better than them and how possibly you could fix these skills. So to start off, what the other skills do correctly, I'm going to look a lot at foraging, alchemy, and combat here. Obviously, farming is definitely still good, but foraging and combat and alchemy really do show the best of the best when it comes to skills. Now, combat, you level up by grinding combat stuff, like you fight things and you're going to level up your combat. And the buffs on here are what make this skill so good. You get 200% more damage to mobs at level 50, and you get, right now, it's 50 crit chance, but it's going down to 25 crit chance from getting this up. So the more you get this up, the more optimized you can make yourself. Rather than running, let's say, godly on armor pieces, you can run strong. You can run less crit chance on talismans. Sure, that's being removed anyways, but pretty much overall, you are just able to run a lot of different things the farther you get into combat. And combat, when you're leveling it, you can get about 400 to 500k an hour if you're grinding revenants. You used to be able to get like 3 to 400k if you were grinding gas per hour, if I remember correctly. And there have been a lot of different methods for leveling up combat, but combat is just really good because of its buffs. The same can be said for foraging. The damage buff that's given on combat is pretty much the exact same when it comes to foraging. If you look at your actual damage numbers, you're getting 2 strength every single level, so you end up pulling like 100 strength. And actually no, you only get 1 strength for the first couple levels, so you're pulling an amount of strength. And then you also have the double logs and triple logs on top of it, so you're making more money when you're grinding the skill. So these both have very rewarding things when it comes to damage, which is currently the most important stat in the game. It hopefully could change where other stats are more useful, but right now, if you deal good damage, you are doing great in the game. The next skill that's more situational on how good it is actually alchemy. So alchemy is a pay-to-win skill. You can level this pretty quickly just by putting in a lot of coins into enchanted sugarcane and just grinding it out and putting them all into the brewing stands over an hour and a half or something. It's really not that hard to level alchemy, and the benefits of leveling alchemy are actually pretty huge. The intelligence that you get from it is a huge bonus to alchemy. It is absolutely insane. Because if you want to be, let's say, the smartest man in Hypixel Skyblock, you're going to want to level your alchemy, because the intelligence is literally that good. And then, on top of that, you get the 50% longer potion duration at Alchemy 50. Now, 50% potion duration allows you to get potions that are over in like 2 hours if you're using a parrot as well. And even without a parrot, you're pulling over like an hour and like a half. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sort of dumb. Oh yeah, it's an hour and a half. There we go. I'm smart. But alchemy achieves the impossible by having a pay-to-win skill that actually doesn't take that long, because I mean, it is pay-to-win. If I'm paying for a skill, if I'm putting in a lot of money, I shouldn't have to spend 6 years leveling these skills. And the rewards for it are also really good. So combat, foraging, and alchemy all do really good with their leveling, and they all have good rewards. But now we're going to talk about the other skills, the Unholy Trinity in Hypixel Skyblock. To start off, the one that I do the most of when it comes to the Unholy Trinity, Enchanting. Enchanting is a skill that is also pay to win. And they did just change this to where you can shift click books into a enchanting table rather than just moving them in. So it's going to be a lot faster than how I did it. But when I leveled up my enchanting, it took me 23-ish hours, 23, 24 hours to level this. And on top of that, it cost me over 100 million coins in lapis. So this is a very expensive skill, and it takes a very long time to level. Once again, they did just change this. I don't know exactly how long they cut off, but it's still a very annoying skill to level. And then the rewards on enchanting are awful. The gain of experience orbs from any source is probably the worst. It's literally the worst that you could get from any of these skills. Literally every single one of them has at least something sort of useful. Fishing has the treasure chance, and then mining has double drops and stuff. But experience orbs, the fact is, most people, they get their sword and they enchant it with like Titanics or with Grands or something, and then they're done. They don't need this. This passive is so useless when it comes to not just throwing down Grands, which is just doing the enchanting already. Like, it's not that good of a passive. And then the intelligence is obviously good, but it still takes literally 20 hours to do. I think the ways that they could fix enchanting, like, they need to just completely rework this skill. You shouldn't have to sit at an enchanting table and just throw enchanting bottles down and level books just to get enchanting levels. It's not a good system, and honestly, they should add a better passive than the gain 200% more experience orbs. There needs to be something like, I've seen suggestions on the forums and in other places, like buff enchants by a certain percentage, and I think that could be really cool. Like, let's say 1% per level, you get up to 50% buff on all of your enchants. They all do more damage, do more stuff. Might be a little OP, might use some tweaking overall, but if they just make everything else in the game balanced around that, it could be a really good change. Or, like, I honestly don't know. Enchanting is just the weirdest skill. A lot of people don't like enchanting at all. They want it to be removed. I don't think they should do that, but they definitely need to do something that is like a complete overhaul of the enchanting system. Next on our list, mining. Mining is something that is basically only done via the snow minions. People just run snow minions and they pick them up. And they run diamond spreading, and then they'll either run catalyst or enchanted lava bucket. And that is the most efficient way to level up mining when it comes to time use, because mining, little known fact, only gets like 50k XP an hour if you're manually grinding or something like that. It's something so stupid, just because the only way to do it pretty much is with a cobble gen, or you can run farms where it's like 150k XP an hour maybe, and that is with like diamonds, and you're just running diamond minions, just grinding those over and over. But pretty much minions are the only way to level mining right now. There are islands for mining, unlike a lot of these. Like, these skills all have like sort of islands. Like, the park is the best example of a really good island, but the deep caverns does exist, and you cannot get good mining XP in here. I don't know why the deep caverns exist past literally early game. I guess they don't really expect you to be grinding ores in the deep caverns, but why would they be there if they don't want you to do that? The deep caverns really, it used to be the way to get to late game. You used to be killing the things down in the obsidian sanctuary. It used to be so tough in here. Everyone used to struggle, but now it's just a cakewalk, obviously, and you can sort of just bypass this part of the game if you just buy ender armor at this point, because mining down here is stupid and fighting things down here is stupid, so why would you do it? Mining either needs a huge buff to its experience, like it needs to have something on your cobblestone or on all of these blocks where I don't even know how much I'm getting per break. Let me check it out real quick if I can find my tool backpack. So the XP right now is like 12 per diamond. It needs to be like 120 per diamond, or like 100 flat. It's absurd. Or they need to add a new mining island. And I understand that would take a lot of time. Adding a new mining island would take away from like building dungeons, which I would definitely prefer you do first. Hypixel, please do not update mining if you are not going to release dungeons first. But a new mining island could be a really cool idea. A lot of people always have concepts for this, where it's just like a deeper caverns or something of the sort, where people are just grinding at higher levels, higher difficulty mobs, and better XP from all the ores. It's just something that's necessary because mining, well, it has okay buffs. Like the double drops are good. And the defense is obviously good. You want defense, you want to be a little tankier. As a tank player, you're definitely going to want a high mining. But right now, mining is just so hard to level that I don't really see a point in doing it. Last, and definitely not least, fishing. To throw some numbers at you, to level foraging from 0 to 50, it takes about 110 hours of max efficiency foraging. The same goes for combat, maybe a little more, I'd say like 120 hours. For fishing, it takes 1,000. I'm just going to let that sink in for a bit. 1,000 hours of fishing to level it up. And the thing about fishing is it is just a right-click simulator. You go into your inventory, you whip out the rod, and then you go right-click, left, or right-click, 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 right-click. And it's just not fun at all to fish. No one likes fishing. I don't like fishing. Like, this mob that I just fished up, it gives me 288 fishing XP. And that is just awful. You get around 50,000 to 75,000 fishing XP per hour. And I think that's the main problem with fishing. Fishing is just something that is so already tedious. No one likes just clicking a button over and over. And then you have to literally just do it way longer than anything else. If the XP was okay, it would maybe be bearable. But the fact that you have to do this for 1,000 hours is just awful. I think the main thing that they have to do is just up the XP from sea creatures. They nerfed it way back in the day because people were getting fishing XP too fast in their opinion, but they never brought it back to par with the other skills where you're getting 500k an hour or like 400, 300. Like literally you could buff the amount of fishing XP that you get per hour by 5 times the amount that it currently is, and it still wouldn't be a good skill. It would still be one of the worst skills in the game other than mining. And oh my gosh, why am I getting so many riders right now? That's also a problem. Too many riders in the deep. Yeah, but fishing, it could obviously use a buff to all its creatures. They could add new creatures. I don't really see a point in that just because, like, right now, if you look at the sea creature guide, you max out at 25. I don't even have the Yeti unlocked. I cannot be bothered to fish. And if we look at my ranking in fishing, I'm 39,000 out of 5.8 million at 21. So if they add more sea creatures, they're just going to be alienating people even more if they're putting it at higher levels. Like, let's say they add a level 30 sea creatures. How many people are actually going to be able to fish up a level 30 sea creature? It's just a bit too intense to add anything new to fishing before you fix the inherent problem of it being just a monotonous grind of no XP and a void of nothingness. They did recently fix one of the main gripes that I had with fishing, which was inventory management with the sack update, but it's still just a pain to fish, and I cannot imagine going through the grind to get fishing 50. There are only 2 fishing 50s. 2. Literally, after almost a year, over a year, I forgot, it's past the anniversary at this point. After a year of the game being out, there are 2 fishing 50s. You know there's a problem with your skill when there is only 2 of them. So, yeah, fishing. Alright, so that is my problems with enchanting, mining, and fishing, the Unholy Trinity. These skills are necessary to have high skill average, they're necessary to be good at the game, but they are not fun to level, or they're just not worth it overall. I really hope that we do see a overall rework of all 3 of these skills, or at least something added to all of them. They did add something like the Reforged Stones when that comes out to the main server for the mining skill, but they only put it at 25 because no one's going to grind past 25 if they are sane or if they have a co-op. That's one of my main problems with mining as well. I have a co-op and I can't pick up these minions all the time. They also pick it up, but that's just a little side note there. It's mainly a co-op problem, not a mining problem. But if you did enjoy this video, or if it made you think about how bad some of these skills are, please smash that like button, maybe even subscribe. Maybe go down to the link in the description, buy the Menacing Banana Badlion cloak, use code BANANA for all your Badlion purchases, and for 10% off on the cloak. And yeah, that's going to be all for today. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.